from here. You don't sound sincere.
One of the favorite games I've ever had, and it was the first game I had on a PS2. So fuck knows how long we're going back now, but was Devil May Cry. And I was on such a mad hype for this when I got it on like Christmas Day, fucking 2000, I don't know. I had read about it like in PSN magazine, and it just seemed like such a cool game. Like fantastic premise, interesting characters, radical fucking boss fights. Like the level 2 boss is a fucking tarantula made of lava. And it was just such a breath of fresh air. Like, it was gory, but not over the top. It was just a really fun game. The combo system was great. You could literally jump up like 15 feet into the air, flip around, and like blaze away with dual pistols. Dante was like the quintessential fucking badass of the time. And it only really ramped up. Like, the game was never too stodgy. The boss fights were always interesting. I can only really solidly point to one bad part in that game, where you have to do this kind of mist maze, and it's literally just picking the left or the right path, and you have to follow a light. But it's so short that it didn't bother my gameplay experience at all. Like, I remember getting a new weapon or a new sword or the gloves, and just playing with them so much. It was so much fun. And I remember specifically one point where I'm fighting a goddamn lizard man made of ice, and I did a backflip and blew his face away with a grenade launcher. This is a game where you fight a giant goddamn bird, and it's still awesome. And it looks like a giant Pidgey, kind of, from hell. And to really round it off, the final boss fight is like a very minor bullet hell style shooter, where you're just tossing endless orbs at the main bad guy, trying to hit his weak point, and for your special move, you fucking throw a dragon at him. You can't beat that. You just throw a dragon at him. You Hadouken a goddamn mythical creature at him. And it was just so good. I've rarely ever, in any game, do I do multiple playthroughs. Like, it's usually one and done for me. But I did that game on, like, Dante Must Die mode. I did all of the challenge maps. I basically 5-starred that game. I've only done that with a couple games, including Resident Evil 4. But I really, really enjoyed it. And you can imagine the absolute disappointment when Devil May Cry 2 comes along, and it's just... It was the bastard child of the series. Done by the numbers, introduced a secondary, completely superfluous character. Previously in Devil May Cry 1, all of the levels kind of followed the overarching story plot. You're going through parts of Malay Island to get something, or you fought the Dark Knight, who was your brother, in a great plot twist and an amazing boss fight at the end. I died so many times trying to get that dude down. Probably the hardest, if I think correctly. But number 2, it was just disjointed box levels. Like, they made no sense. One point you're on an oil rig, next point you're in a city, and they took away the rapid firing pistol mechanic. The devil transformation allowed him to shoot lightning from his hands. It sounds silly, but these are things that don't follow the theme very well. And it felt dishonest to the series. And it was just so bad. And I wanted it to be good so badly. Like, the last boss is a 2-stage boss where it's just all the bosses from, like, Devil May Cry 1 and parts of Devil May Cry 2 in a blob, and you take turns fighting its heads. And then the second one is just a devil guy. Like, there's been no real build-up. The main boss in Devil May Cry 1 was a demon whose name I cannot remember for the life of me. Anyone who's played the series will know. And basically, he appears early on, he threatens you throughout, you deal with his henchmen who reference him. There's kind of like a continuity. But in Devil May Cry 2, some business dude is trying to open a portal into hell, and then Mundus, that was the name of the guy, Mundus, god damn it. Anyway, open a portal into hell, and then yada yada yada, doesn't work, imperfect transformation. And it's a slightly different boss battle if you play the woman, whose name I cannot even remember. Now, Devil May Cry 3. That game kicked my ass. and it was a nice return to form. Really, really cool. Hard as dicks. Like, the English version, the normal difficulty mode was the hard mode. I could fucking tell. I never actually completed it, because the last boss is basically a boss run with limited heals, where you have to beat all of the other bosses, which are hard as tits, and then do, like, another boss battle with Virgil, where a second player can actually jump in if you had a friend to play it with you, but most of us didn't. We were busy trying to ram through it single player. It's actually the one Devil May Cry game I never finished. But it was nice. Even the expanded difficulty kind of made it really worth it in a Ninja Gaiden masochism kind of way. And I did enjoy it. Devil May Cry 4 unfortunately did one of the worst gaming sins I can think of. It's the same thing that Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater was guilty of, and that was it replaced the main character with a whinging, puling, by-the-numbers, goddamn weeb character who has all of the same abilities as the main character, but he's way cooler and he's way whingier. And you can tell, like, they gave him a cool right arm, they gave him a revolver with 2 barrels, and a sword with a goddamn motorcycle clutch on it. And the game wasn't bad. The boss battles were fun, the combo system was alright, but playing this whingy, utterly forced romance plot horsecock was just... it wasn't Devil May Cry. And yeah, Dante was in it, and you get to play as him for a bit, but god damn it, I wanted to play him through the entire way. He was the devil you know, literally. So, leading up to now, the newest Devil May Cry. And what do you know? It's actually a really interesting reboot. I really like it. In a way, it stays more faithful to the original material than most of the others ever did. It completely changes the setup. There's nothing really left of the series other than the names. So you've got Dante, Virgil, Mundus, Sparda, his dad, and I forget his mom. But they've changed the formula up. But you know what? The boss battles are inventive, the scenery's kind of cool, the art style's great. And it had kind of one of the more interesting plots with the whole concept of like a hidden world, where Mundus was having some kind of subliminal ad campaign and demons were kind of unseen to the world. And it really did a nice thing to establish Virgil as kind of like a bad guy with good seeming intentions. And then the battle at the end was very cool, and the expanded thing where you fight through hell as Virgil and watch him become like even more fucked up was very, very nice. On a little side tangent, the Devil May Cry anime was terrible. It was just typical anime. Me and Gray had a rule when we used to go to Blockbusters, and you know exactly how long that was, Blockbusters. Well, we always had a rule. We never get anything anime, because likely enough, it'll be like 30 minutes long, confusing as dicks, and completely disappointing and frustrating. The Devil May Cry anime was, I think, a several episode OVA style thing that hit the artistic style really well, but introduced like a girl sidekick thing and other stuff. And the problem is, it ramps up to a really cool conclusion where like a minor character has actually been playing everyone to get, like, do a power grab, but then Dante like goes Super Saiyan and kills him in one hit. That's always been the biggest cuck in any anime or film. Like, give me a fight scene, give me like 5 minutes of these guys trading shots at least. But I'd never understood the Japanese storytelling thing of like the one slash. How many animes, concepts, characters actually just end off so much dick teasing with the vertical line and then the enemy falls in half while going Nandasa, impossible desuka. And it's just like, fuck. Art style was great, everything else was just terribly, terribly bad. Who knows, I look forward to it. Devil May Cry is just like, it's part of my childhood, and I don't think I'll ever be able to let it go, even if it gets terrible. Again, man, you know, it's the devil you know. I'll always have a fond place in my heart with it. I can't even remember the other game I got with my PlayStation 2. I think I got 2 of them, and that's the one I played pretty much exclusively. Anyway, this is Banderacon signing out. Have a good night, guys. If you like this, let me know. Throw me a message. God knows I have enough time to read them. Good night.
I'm never gonna neglect you. My soul and my sweat too. But I'm afraid